Welcome.
So Antarctica is basically a natural laboratory, and it is only used for peace and science.
Minus 40 degrees centigrade in summer.
You just soon realize actually it is not all that romantic or beauty when all that white you look like. So it can be very harsh and it can be also a bit dangerous.
Hello, welcome to PTI and to our show at 4 Parliament Street. Let me take you all thousands of miles away to an area 4 times the size of India. As far as one can see, it is an endless expanse of white which blinds the eyes from the reflected sunlight. In fact, the sun doesn't set here for 6 months of summer when the maximum temperature rises to minus 40 degrees Celsius. In winters, it is minus 90 degrees Celsius. Welcome to Antarctica. In this inhospitable and awe-inspiring landscape, some 46 Indian scientists are working right now. India has 2 bases on the Antarctic, and scientists take turns to be there on year-long assignments. So why does India need a presence in Antarctica, this vast continent of thick ice surrounding the South Pole? This question and many more about Antarctica will be answered by our guests today. Dr. Thamban Meloth, who is the director of the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. As a young scientist, he worked for months in Antarctica when facilities were basic and technology still primitive. He also led India's first scientific expedition to the South Pole. Dr. Thamban has also undertaken research missions to the Arctic. He's an expert on the impact of climate variability on glaciers in the polar regions. We also have Dr. M Ravichandran, Secretary to the Ministry of Earth Sciences. A veteran researcher in atmospheric sciences and ocean studies, Dr. Ravichandran is the former head of the NCPOR and also has spent time on the Antarctic. It's a privilege to have Dr. Thamban and Dr. Ravichandran at PTI, and we thank them for taking the time out to talk to us about this fascinating and little-known continent. Dr. Ravichandran, Dr. Thamban, welcome to PTI. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Now, India has made lots of scientific progress. We have gone to the moon. Everybody knows about that. But not many people know what India has done in scientific pursuit on our own planet, and especially down south in the Antarctica. Can you just tell us what exactly we are doing? And I believe that we are going to achieve a landmark on May 20th, 2024, when we'll become the chair of the consultative committee of the Antarctica program. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us for this PTA. It is very good and very important for us also to say about Antarctica. Of course, Antarctica is basically a natural laboratory, and it is a pristine environment, and it is only used for peace and science, nothing else. And it is no man's land. The currency for Antarctica is science. So all the countries, those who want to do research in Antarctica, they can be partner, and they have to be demonstrated every year by year what science you are doing. So what is the environmental aspect of Antarctica and various aspects in the Antarctica, especially you talk about physics, you talk about biology or chemistry. Physics, people look at it, how the past history, trying to drill the Antarctic ice core or sediment core. From that, you try to see the rhythm of Mother Earth, and from that rhythm, you try to construct the future climate. So that's the main purpose. Everybody is looking at it, and many countries are installed their station, but we have 2 permanent stations. So this station mainly, they stay throughout the year. Once they go in November to December sometime, then they will be coming back next December only. So they will be full year, they will be there, and they will be doing various scientific activity. Maybe some of the people are doing biology, how cold climate, microbes and other things, how it is there and other things, various aspects.
So because it is the southern hemisphere, the winter is in the other,
yeah, it is exactly opposite. So our summer, for them it is a winter.
Okay.
So their summer starts by December. So maybe November, December. So we start going to November. Before that, we will not able to go to Antarctica at all in any means.
How prestigious is it for India to be the chair of the consultative committee that we are going to assume on May 20th?
Of course, this chair of this one, it is a rotation, because there are about 29 countries and 56 countries are involved in Antarctic science and other things. Out of that, 29 are consultative status. That means they have a voting right and decision making process. And out of this 29, one of the countries is India. Now, this is basically Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting is annual affair, and wherein all the scientists, policymakers, logistic managers, environmentalists, all they join together and make a governing for Antarctica. So they make a governance structure, or maybe you can say that it is a parliament for Antarctica.
Okay.
So now this parliament, maybe who is the Lok Sabha speaker is a chairman.
Okay.
So this is a rotation basis, by alphabetic order will go. So like a G20, like that. But now this year, so once in 29 years, India will host.
Okay.
So this year, India is hosting in Kochi during 20 to 30 May.
Okay. Dr. Thamban, you started your career as a scientist in Antarctica. The first time you went there, what was your impression of this vast continent of just white snow, ice, nothing else?
Yeah, I would say actually it was very surreal actually, because you land in the place, it's all over white, but you do not even know the distance.
How do you land there, first of all?
Okay, there are different ways. In the early times, we went by ship, which takes almost a month from starting from Goa, stopping at Mauritius and reaching Antarctica. It takes about a 1 month time, one way. And now since 2000, actually early 2000s, we have this also flights, which are the cargo flights actually, which can land on Antarctica on ice field.
From New Zealand or?
No, we use the South Africa as the gateway.
Okay.
So there are mainly 3 gateways. One is South America, the South Africa and Australia, and New Zealand also a little bit.
Okay.
So when you go by ship, actually you will actually keep seeing the icebergs and then reach Antarctica. But when you go by flight, you will just land in a white land. It's like in a wonderland kind of thing. So, but it's also, you just soon realize actually it is not all that romantic or beauty when all that white look like. So it can be very harsh and it can be also a bit dangerous.
So you have to wear a sweater, I'm sure.
Sweater is not sufficient. Absolutely not sufficient.
I was joking, but how many layers of clothes do you have?
It varies actually. It varies from 2 to 3 layers to sometimes we have, when we went to South Pole, we also went up to 5 layers. Okay. Because as the increase, the intensity of the cold and wind increases, you require multiple layers. And more than the thickness, what matters is the layers.
See, the temperature is one, but the important thing is the wind chill. So even temperature is minus 40, but the wind is so strong.
Sorry, did you say minus 40 degrees centigrade in summer?
Not summer, impossible. Like in South Pole, when we went, the summertime, the temperature was minus 55 in summertime. So it varies in Antarctica.
In winter, it goes up to recorded is minus 90.
Minus 90.
Minus
but
90.
you are not there during winters. You are there only in summer.
No, we are there actually at the
Our people are there.
Those stations are mostly on the coast. They are warm because they are close to the sea. Whereas as you go inland, it's also higher altitudes and also much more separated from the ocean. Therefore, they will be very cold.
You said it is dangerous. Why is it dangerous?
The wind, the blizzards, like the strong wind. Actually, this snow will be like sandstorms. You can have this blizzards, which brings this snowstorms. You will lose the direction actually, and you can also fall in sometimes in crevasses of this ice. Because it's so white, like in all this white, sometimes there may be a fresh snow falling actually, but below there will be a huge crevasse. You wouldn't know that. So your vehicle can just get into it.
Basically, it has to land on ice sheet. This ice sheet is thickness. It is about a few kilometers.
Few kilometers?
Yes. Okay. But the problem there, unlike here, if you Delhi, wind will be this direction or this direction. So depending upon that, you have to land. Against the wind only, you land it. In Antarctica, it is South Pole. Wind may come anywhere. So when you are landing, if it is opposite, if it is there, it is good. My runway is like this. But if crosswind is there, I cannot land. Even many times you cannot land, you have to come back to Cape Town only again. So that type of things are there. So, or maybe once you landed, takeoff or landing, it's not determined by pilot or anything, wind only main. He is the main person to determine.
I can only imagine how cold it must be for you. For someone who grew up in Kerala, even Delhi will be cold. Can you imagine going to Antarctica at minus 55?
I'm surprised about myself, but I think it's all about the mind, not about your body.
And how long was your first assignment for?
I spent almost 4.5 months.
4.5 months. And what was your research focused on?
I work mostly on ice sheets actually, and I drill into Antarctic ice to study the climate effect and so on.
So like any important scientific missions, everyone is curious to know about the first mission in any field. So how was the first Antarctic expedition? And I may like to share an anecdote. PTI was the first to break the story of the Indian Antarctic expedition under Dr. Qasim reaching in Antarctica. And also there was a lot of pressure on us to not to use the story because they wanted an official announcement to come from Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi. I was there at the time. So the whole thing was a cloak and dagger affair. A lot of secrecy. One of the scientists recently said it was like a James Bond film. So could you tell us something about the first expedition, which we may not know?
So the first expedition last time when they met they all came to Goa. Actually, we had a very nice get together on Antarctic. So they were actually sharing some of the stories. In fact, most of us also did not know about that story before. So I think it was basically, all people involved were not even told to their families and when they were going and all. It was that kind of mission. But I think from that time, actually, it has changed a lot. Now, thereafter, it became more of a scientific mission. Early times, it was an adventurous mission. So we don't consider Antarctica anymore as an adventurous place. It's like any other place, provided you take enough, precautions, kind of thing. So we can carry out a lot of scientific activities which you cannot carry out in places like India. So that's how we consider now. The early times, it was very more of an adventure, actually. So.
Yeah, it is a silent mission that when it started 81. This one, actually India is a very prime player. Why still Antarctica is science and peace? India is a player to that. So the first mission when they started, I think Qasim, under Professor Qasim, it has started. And when they reach, you should not tell anybody. And it has also agreement with the Norway when they are giving the icebreaker vessel. So you should not tell. And they have to go, even some of the things, even I think Dr. Qasim couldn't go from here. Then he joined from Mozambique. From Mozambique, he joined there. And they went there, everything surprise. So after reaching only, then it has been, first time they told that, yes, we have reached. Then it was, entire world was surprised. Entire world was surprised. Nobody knows. Of course, here now, communications are very strong now. Strengthened too much, but earlier communication is not that much. That's why nobody knows that until they reach.
Because those days everyone came to know only the next day through a newspaper. It's only the All India Radio and Doordarshan and the agencies, PTI,
Yes.
And the story was done by our legendary science editor, Dr. K.S. Jayaraman. And we still take pride of having broken that story.
But we are the only country, even after 81, we made 83 station we built. And then 83 we consultative status. We are the only country, same year we got the consultative status on 83.
But what is the need for the secrecy?
It was a Cold War period and there was a lot of things going on. So the thing that the top level they decided actually it's also important for India to be in Antarctica because to have a stake in future, if at all.
So it is a far-sighted thinking.
I think it's far-sighted thinking. But also it has something which actually I would like to add actually that regarding Antarctic Treaty, India has a role to play because it was in 1956 actually when during Krishna Menon's time actually as External Affairs Minister actually India raised this issue in the UN about the question of Antarctica. It was specifically written as a question of Antarctica. That's the time actually a lot of countries realized, okay, there are people even from the global south is looking at these kind of issues. And then only the momentum for the Antarctic Treaty system came up. And then we have the Antarctic Treaty came up by these 12 signatories in 1959, which got ratified, I think, in 61. Ultimately, it became an Antarctic Treaty in 61. So India had some, thinking even at that level, I would say.
So just to give us a sense, how have things really changed from 1981 to now? You've told us that, it was considered more of an adventure. Now it is more about science. So one, about the kind of work that is being carried out, and also in terms of the challenges of, well, living in minus 55. I'm sure technology has changed in terms of, how you heat up, your living quarters and the kind of clothes that you wear. And so just give us a sense of, this time that has elapsed and how things have changed.
When you talk about this time changes, there are two things. One is for science, how it is changed. Other one is a logistic perspective, how it is changed. So logistic, year by year, it has been simplified in terms of going there. Maybe earlier we went for icebreaker, we have to go there, and very harsh. Earlier we went from Goa to Antarctica, stop over at Mauritius. Then later on we moved from Cape Town to Antarctica. So we hired the vessel from Cape Town. So now both are available. Of course, for the fuel and provisions and everything, you have to go by ship only. That is going on as usual by ship only. Some people, scientists also will go, because on the way we want to do some only research. That is why. But some people, they want to go, suppose even one day, I want to have a particular research now. I want to have only one day, I want to be there in Antarctica, do that research and come back. That is also possible now. Earlier you cannot think of that. That is one. And also science, what we have, logistic wise, it has been simplified. And there are vehicles. In Antarctica also, various vehicles are being operated earlier, and now it is totally, earlier we have to go on walk. See, when the walking in Antarctica with no road and terrain so rough and other thing, so it is very difficult. Now you have vehicles and other things. In terms of science, we started with some climate change aspect, how the weather changes and other things. Now there are a lot more things. It has come out in terms of science, especially how the teleconnection between Antarctica and India. When Antarctica's weather pattern changes, what is the implication of monsoon, and vice versa. When the monsoon changes, what will be the Antarctica, and sea ice, how it is changing. Now a lot of sea ice changes has happened. So because of the warming climate, and what is its impact, and also space weather. One of the important things, Antarctica is, as I told, it is a natural laboratory. You can look at the space weather, how it is changing over the period. And also you can see there are various technological instruments also has been come out now newly. So that has been used for more and more research. So over the period. Earlier our job is to go and stay. But now the stay is stays, of course you have to stay, but what I can do more, science. That's the way. And moreover, now everybody is watchful. How much you are doing science and other things, because many countries want to be a consultative status. It is not easy. So until you prove scientifically how much you have contributed, then only it will be. Maybe 1 week or sometime you are allowed to talk only 6 minutes. Now you have WhatsApp. We have 2 stations. I always proudly say one station is typical Indian village and other station is 5-star hotel. So it is
very modern station.
Very modern
station.
So you're saying 6 minutes a week, that was earlier. No, that's what I'm saying. You started off with 6 minutes of
per month. So you have to accumulate, and that also many people know you not phone. You have to call back. Trunk call.
When I went the first times, actually also there was only 6 minutes per month actually. When before that even much more worse. But it's dramatically changed since the satellite, the communication increased in Antarctica and all actually. Now we have basically good facilities.
Now ISRO has established dedicated station for us also. And also they are having a satellite receiving station in Antarctica. And so we have a telecommunication. Communication has become very simple. So any Indian movie, if you are in room, as good as you are in India only, inside the room. Because you can watch TV.
Not 5-star everywhere. He was just trying to little more on the higher side.
Yeah, but inside the room.
It's a very comfortable living.
But how does a day look like, for a scientist?
Or a summertime, it can be completely daylight, 24 hours in this one, and it's also very bright because it's a white surface. It's like, the white snow. It's very reflection will be too much.
What time zone is it? Does it have its own time zone, or is it?
You decide time zone yourself.
So you set your own biological clock and say that I'm going to sleep at this time to this time, and
Right. So, for example, one of our station actually follow almost Indian time because we are in that longitude actually. Another one we we use the GMT, which is pretty close to that.
You said it is about peace and science are the only two I can see there. What about other countries' presence there, and what about international geopolitics? Does it play out? Does US, China, Russia compete with each other, and who are our competitors there?
One of the best part of the Antarctic Treaty System is one of the most, I would say, actually, that the great thing about actually it worked as a system which actually worked, where all people are joined together and they decide Antarctica can be used for only peaceful purpose and for science. So that means actually that there is no competition among the countries, and they are also supposed to share data. They are supposed to share logistics, but it's a very harsh place because our neighbors most of the time, even we have neighbors like in China, for example. One of the places our neighbor is China, so there have been always some kind of collaboration happening because its land is like that. So among the various countries who are there, actually, there have been originally 12 signatories. Now there are 56 parties to the Antarctic Treaty, out of which 29 have got a consultative party. So within Asia, India, Japan and China, actually, we have consultative status. So there is no, I would say, the global geopolitics play a very secondary role. I won't say it won't play at all because every country has to look at their interest actually. But it is not something like Arctic. Arctic geopolitics and Antarctic is completely different that way.
Added to that, yes, there will be definitely geopolitics will be there. You know, earlier it was a climate. So that is all dormant now. But having said that, we don't know what will happen in future. So everybody thinking something on the mind, though I am doing science, but underground is something is happening for all the countries, geopolitical reason. But exactly what it is not known. And Antarctica is, you can do exploration. You cannot do any exploitation as of now. So that's the difference. And also this, when you compare to other countries' collaboration and other thing, typical when this Russian war cropped up, Ukraine war, we are the only country, we have hired a vessel from Russia, and we hired in a vessel, we have 2 helicopters, the helicopter crew from Ukraine and scientists from India, we were all together in Antarctica that time. We don't know what will happen, but still we don't have any problem, and our nearest neighbor is Russia. So when any function, suppose any function means we do Independence Day, Republic Day, they come, we all call all the people. Even in Bharati station, we call Chinese and other people. So Russia, maybe other Australia and other thing. Even first time we have conducted international conference in Bharati station.
So do you have like movie nights and say, come, let's watch?
You have YouTube, you have everything there.
No, but you want to invite them for dinner or something, and then you do that?
Yeah, full day they will come.
Or maybe they'll say that, no, it's not my time zone, I'm sleeping at that
No,
time.
no. All are there, same time zone. Because it is actually 24 hour you will have in summer. And one more thing is, in summer, in China station we are very close. Far away. In winter we are very close. Because winter you will have ice, you can go by car. But in summer it will melted, so you have to go by helicopter or you have to go all around.
When he talks about car, it's not a normal car actually. You're talking about snow vehicles actually, which goes very slow actually. So.
Okay. How many people does it take, the snowmobile?
No, snowmobiles typically about 2 people are the small ones actually, but then also there are also these chained snow vehicles actually, which can take about even 8 people and all sometimes. It will be very slow, about 10 km/h speed kind of.
And the scientists themselves have to drive it, or
we also have mechanics actually, vehicle mechanics actually, mostly to take care of those things. But however, scientists also can drive it.
Where are they made, these vehicles?
These are typically actually either a Scandinavian or we use German vehicles in fact actually. So.
Just one small thing I wanted. Do you have women there?
Yes, we have women since 1983 onwards. Indian women have been party to the Antarctic program.
At this point, how many women are posted in our stations?
In the summertime actually we had several people actually. This winter actually we do not, but sometimes we have winter actually people. The ladies doctors especially comes actually. Some scientists did come. So it varies from year to
sometime
year.
1 year it was a leader also.
We had leaders also as a, station leader actually as a lady. So, yeah, so it's possible depending on science and other activities.
Dr. Ravichandran, we are hosting the ATCM meeting on May 20th. So, what is on agenda? And is India presenting any proposals like building Maitri 2? Are we informing the ATCM about it? Just tell us.
So, of course, this ATCM, each ATCM will be, many people will be presenting some of the working papers. Working papers means which need approval from ATCM. Some of the things are information papers. That means what you have done last year, what are the things you have done, all these information papers. Most of the working papers will come for a larger discussion. In this 10 days, there are a lot of discussion. This year, basically, we are only going to inform that we are planning to go for revamping our station. Revamping means we have to build them. Maitri is very old. It is outlived. Now we have to construct. So that construction we want to inform. First we have to inform. Then maybe next time we have to plan environmentally. You are not damaging that like that. You have to inform. Once they agree, then we have to go for a building. So this is the first time only going to inform it, but not we are going to be what is called planning and other things we are not going to do. But there are many information papers and working papers with the various countries and all other things are there. But we are not going to get anything from specifically for India or this one. It is only information.
Just for a sense of comparison, how big is Antarctica compared to, let's say, Indian landmass?
It's about nearly 4.5 times of Indian subcontinent.
Wow.
Right.
Which is as big as the United States, maybe?
No, it's a double times of United States, twice of United States.
As big as Russia then, or more than Russia also?
Million square kilometer. India is about just around 3 million square kilometer. India, right?
And how many people are living on that huge landmass?
Any given time, actually, summertime we have maximum about 2,000 to 2,500 people. Winter time they could be a few hundreds, so maybe less than 1,000 people actually.
And you can't buy land there?
No one can buy land. And no one actually, there is no indigenous population in Antarctica compared to Arctic.
Only indigenous population is penguin.
Do you see a lot of penguins all the time, or
only on the coast? Only along the coastal areas.
Our Bharati station is near to the coast. So, whereas in Maitri it is 100 kilometer inside.
Have you encountered penguins many times? Is there something unique about them that you like?
They are also very friendly. In fact, they are very curious. Penguins are like like curious cats. Curiosity is something. When they do some work, actually, they like to come to that activity area. At the same time, they stay a little bit distance and look at that. So they are shy, but at the same very curious people.
Yeah, they are also doing many people with. Suppose you keep the mirror in front of that, what will do? So like that, many research and everybody is doing. So because cognitive sense how it is for them. Because I understand that is the first animal, this cognitive sense started from there. So that's why they look at it, how it is behaving and other things. These behavioral patterns.
Yeah, they can be very friendly. So people mistake it actually for friendliness, actually then go to touch because you are not supposed to. It's been completely banned to even, go close to them, feed them or touch them. So because they can fall sick immediately.
Even some of the things, it will be very naughty also. It will steal that one to hear. Suppose you want to hide something, stone is there. Suppose one penguin has taken the stone and kept it for my cushion. Then when it is looking at that somewhere it has gone, without seeing, like it will see and go and bring that and keep it in.
That other penguin will go and steal it.
Steal it and keep it as if I don't know anything when it comes.
But they all work in herds, or are they?
Yeah, they have a rookeries actually. They, in a community they live. They don't live alone. If they are alone, then they are bound to die because actually they get stray, become lost your way. Food then, you don't get it.
Then that's it.
Yeah, so
I've seen videos of them, some of them plunging into
that's very common. Very common. Yeah.
Food is from Antarctic
ocean only. No?
Ocean
food
only.
is from the ocean. There is no ocean and a penguin cannot survive because the food is only from ocean.
So they eat only fish and
krill fish actually,
krill fish.
small krill.
Krill, K-R-I-L-L.
all this great work that we've done over the years when it comes to Antarctica exploration, why does it not find the exact mention in our school curriculum or the NCERT textbooks? We find those outdated texts which have been there for years, and in comparison, we have updated content about the mission on the moon, but not on the Antarctica expedition. Has this been raised anytime with the Education Ministry or with the NCERT about updating that particular content?
Yeah, that is very important. Of course, the outreach we are very poor. Even though we can proudly say India is the only country considering the Mother Earth, right from the poles to ocean and atmosphere, everything together, we have Ministry of Earth Sciences. But unfortunately, we are not able to, maybe outreach or communicating school and public is very low. Maybe we have to strengthen. We have already write a letter. Not only this, many other aspects also in earth science, climate change and other aspect also we have written. I think they are working on it. There is a team, and recently also they have formulated a committee for bringing out this importance of not only Antarctic but also Arctic and Himalaya together to understand the Mother Earth in totality.
So this committee has just been constituted?
Yes, it has been constituted and they are working on it already.
Another thing, another student-centric thing only, Students on Ice program is a very popular program where high school students are taken to Antarctica to let them understand about the kind of research that has been going on. It is led by Canadian scientists. Now that India is going to be chair of this very important program, are there any plans of doing something similar for Indian school students?
Students of ICE program was basically funded by a foundation actually. It stood for some years. Now it's not there. That program is now at the moment, so its funding is not exactly that way. But there are other offshoots of that program is there still now. So, but basically, all such kind of thing, you require a kind of a private foundation also contributing. It's not a governments are not one which is giving. What we do actually, we do take students actually, but not of course school students. Students at least a level of actually masters, and this we have taken many taken a lot of students to Antarctica that way. So that is something which we do.
But no school students so far.
School students, no, it has its own complications actually.
Actually, moreover, if you see roughly, if you are taking about a one person average, it will take about 1 crore.
That's the expense for Antarctica.
It is expensive. So
if you put all this together,
that, very simple for flight going and coming. It's not only that, we have to keep a station, we have to maintain them, and we have to buy their cloths and maybe all this put together average. So if you put that 1 person per crore, and it is not that we have also taken journalists, we have taken a student, and it is possible, but it is to be seen that how suppose opportunity, because every year we invite the proposals. Suppose the proposals are very strong, scientifically competitive and other thing, then we cannot forego them. Suppose if it is less, then we can try to take. Even this last 2 years, we have taken even our neighboring countries' people. Bangladesh, Mauritius, maybe Sri Lanka. So if you want to join, I say like a big brother, we will take you. Maybe, but you tell us what you want to do if you go there. 4 months, any science, anything you have. So like that. So maybe definitely you have to take some student and other thing, but it will happen soon.
So how much do we spend per year on maintaining these two bases?
Roughly about 150 to 175 crores.
Entire polar program, at least 150 to 160 crores minimum we require actually these days.
Per year?
Per year.
Per year. Which includes the maintenance of the station, sending the what you call cargoes and fuel and all the ships, including all those expenses. That is something which we...
Not including the expenses that the ancillary staff in
NCPOR,
India?
No. Yeah, partly yes, I would say. That's the minimum we require, but it varies. Sometimes some years we feel at least we should have 200 crores. So we are, request ministry.
I was just going to ask you, is 150 sufficient or do you want more? It is not sufficient.
We may not, because of the Ukraine war actually, the price have increased. Otherwise, it would have been okay.
And other things have increased.
Fuel prices have gone.
Maybe the fuel price may be okay. But when you go to South Africa and get dollar rates and other things, it will be. And also, because of the Ukraine problem, the flight, we have earlier one group of countries together, 7 countries or 8 countries together, we hire an aircraft, that is a Russian aircraft, and we go together. Suppose I want 10 seats, you take 5 seats, you take 7 seats, like that. So we have one group. Now that group has been departed because they told we will not go by Russian, this one. So now we have to pay a lot of more money. So all these things happen.
I wanted to ask a question about the impact of climate change in the region. There were reports about increase in the air temperature. What does it mean for the region?
Yeah, actually that is very important. That is the basic fundamental things in climate change, what is happening. Whenever this global warming is happening, the first place to sense is Antarctica. So ice will melt, sea ice will deplete, sea ice will go down. So more and more sea ice is being open up, then more sunrise, that means radiation will go, then ocean will warm, then this ocean will go to under the sea ice, again it will erode. So sea ice will be lost in that way. Now, once it is a warm, then the air temperature will be warm. Air temperature, if it is warm 1 degree, that means it can hold about 6% more water. 1 cubic square meter, if I have a water vapor in temperature, suppose if you have a 30-degree temperature, I will be able to hold about 1 liter water. 1 cubic meter, 1 liter I am holding. But if 1 degree increase, now I can hold 2 liter water. So what would happen is, that means holding capacity has increased. That means what would finally happen is, that is why if you are able to see now, extreme rainfalls are increasing. That means now I hold more and more water, after some time pour it.
You mean water vapor?
Water vapor. Yeah, water vapor. So the extreme rainfall will go on increase. That is the impact. Now the extreme rainfall is increased again, then another consequence is you will have a lot of latent heat will be released in the atmosphere. And that again it will go all the way to polar region and more ice will melt. So that is what we call teleconnections. So it is not only the sea ice reduction will be problem for us, and our problem that monsoon rain, if it is more and more heavy rains are occurring, we are encountering with the 2 problems. That means spatial and temporal distribution is changed. Though total rainfall remains same, but the spatial distribution and temporal distribution is changed. So we are encountering with the 2 problems. Somewhere it is a flooding and somewhere it is a drought. But total rainfall is same.
So just adding to your saying, also in Antarctica, for example, the West Antarctica is warming much faster and losing ice mass compared to the East Antarctica. The reason is also that actually large part of West Antarctica is also a floating body of ice. We call it ice shelf, which means it's not only the temperature from the surface, but also the warm ocean water is eroding from the bottom. So that's why we have a large loss of ice in the West Antarctica. Another thing which is happening recently, like last year and all, there is this, we call it actually, atmospheric reverse. From the large distance, places like tropical region, warm air mass traveling to the polar regions and Antarctic and Arctic both, and they travel thousands of kilometers, in fact, actually, all the way from tropic to subtropics to reach the polar regions. They are very warm, number one. They also have a lot of moisture. So when they land, touch the landmass of Antarctica, it can be also lead to heating of Antarctic atmosphere, and also some of the ice mass can be under danger because of that. In fact, 1 year or 2 years back, actually this happened. 2022, there was a huge temperature when the temperature was supposed to be -65 in Antarctica. In 1 day, about 35 degree temperature has increased. Yeah, so that kind of dramatic changes do happen. So that happens because actually, as we were talking, there's a lot of things changes in the tropical and subtropical area. The envelope of Antarctica, which we call actually polar vortex, is being lost and they breach. So these air mass can reach Antarctica. Earlier they used to stop around a big belt of we call as polar vortex. So this change is not only happening in places like India, it's there in Antarctic, Arctic, everywhere. And most importantly, actually, it's not uniform. The increase in sea level due to melt or anything actually is dramatically higher in the mid-latitudes and tropical region compared to that although Antarctica may be melting, the sea level increase around Antarctica will be much less compared to other in tropics or mid latitudes. So whatever happens in Antarctica actually impacts us. That's the most important message actually, which why we study Antarctica.
So if Antarctica ice starts melting, the first ones to go will be the islands.
Right.
Yeah, all the islands, the archipelagos will go, and then all the land masses will also come underwater.
So now marine pollution, especially plastic pollution, has emerged as a key problem globally. Is it also affecting Antarctica? And
Yes.
what are the scientists finding? What kind of trash
There are Antarctica,
scientists finding there?
right. Antarctica does have a huge amount of studies going on this, especially in microplastics of late. They find actually there is a microplastic not even in snow, not only in the ocean. Ocean, of course, we know that actually that it's a great unifier. Whatever you dump in tropics or any place, any countries, ultimately reaches all over the globe. And there are some areas, especially around in Southern Ocean, actually there's a large pools of ice. These plastics are joined together because actually the eddies and currents and all that. Even in the coastal Antarctica studies also says that actually those waters who do have microplastics. So studies are very clear now actually that Antarctica is not free from any such pollution. Most of this pollution do reach from other continents, not from Antarctica itself, either due to wind or due to these currents.
So can a common person visit the Indian research stations as a tourist in Antarctica?
Not now, but very soon we will take it up, because this Antarctic tourism is one of the
big topics for
the treaty now.
Antarctic tourism exists actually, but the problem is it's not properly regulated. So that's why this year actually there's a discussion actually on the framework for a regulation of that. Common man, when you say that, actually depends also, you have to spend, it will be expenditure also involved. So it may not be every common man, but yeah, people can go now these days to Antarctica.
See, basically, if you are really, even 1 crore if you pay, I'll tell you, you can go to Argentina. From Argentina, they will take by boat, but as peninsula, they will take Antarctic Peninsula. Okay, this is what Antarctica, and come back.
So that will be much cheaper than 1 crore.
Right. It can be cheap.
So when you say that it will be discussed at the consultative committee, yes, can you just give some more details of how is this process going to work?
Okay, this is for like-minded countries. Suppose India even articulated with that Antarctic tourism should be environmental friendly and regulated properly. It is not that somebody want to go and there. See, Antarctica, even our station is very maintained very well. Even other people will inspectors will come, whether you are keeping it very properly. All the dust, anything is there, you have to bring it back to mainland.
Including human waste.
Everything. Okay. So now we are keeping like that, and simply you are taking tourism and they throw and other things, who is responsible? So whomever the tour operators, they are under various scrutiny process, it has been there. So now this Antarctic Treaty, they will tell that you have to regulate. Okay. How to regulate, where to go, only particular place you have to go, or where we have to go, at that place, how before and after, how the environmental impact, all these things they look at it, then only we have to do it. And year by year, this tourist also increasing. So now if it goes beyond that, what to do?
And what is India's position on tourism?
Tourism, we want to have we want a regulated tourism, regulated things, and also it should not be hypothetically open up everything.
Right.
So that's the thing. So this we started, but there are many like-minded countries also joined together. So now this is also one of the working papers.
Major working group.
They will discuss and they will recommend to the Antarctic Treaty, and this is what. So they will make some measure. Or when you are going for tourism, this are the things, criteria you have to fulfill, like that they will dictate to the operators.
Because there are several countries within the treaty where the tourism is a main, like Argentina, Chile and all. So that's why there are conflict actually in thinking actually though. But however, research stations are not allowed for tourism. That's also I just want to inform.
Is there like a pole and the South Pole?
Yes, there are 2 poles. One is a geographical pole, another one is a magnetic pole. So geographic pole is occupied by US. Magnetic pole occupied by Russia. That time they were fighting for how to reach and how to occupy. So
worlds apart.
Polar supply.
How are when you say occupy, meaning what? They have
They have a station. They have put a station. Normally they have put a stick also.
Okay.
But also they have a station.
Are we doing anything in the Arctic also?
We have a station in Arctic, in Svalbard. It's also, again, it's known as Himadri, and we also undertake research actually in the Arctic Ocean, which in that area, and we plan to take some research in Greenland, and we also had an expedition last year to Canadian Arctic. So we are quite active in Arctic.
You have spent time in Antarctica. Were there any scary moments that you recall?
No, of course. Actually, you
Come across any blizzard or anything?
we have that very commonly actually. But I would personally, I would tell anyone who tells me the similar scary story, I would say it is much more safer than actually a street of Delhi, I would say.
Of this entire vast ice mass that you have, what percentage has actually been explored till now, and how long will it take to actually explore the entire mass? And secondly, how many Indian scientists are there actually stationed right now in the region?
We have about 25 plus 20, almost 46 people actually are there in Antarctica now. They are throughout the year, that's a minimum level people, but summertime is the maximum people who are researchers go there to carry out science. And if you ask me how much percentage of Antarctica you can, this one I think probably you can never be completely get it, because actually the magnitude of the land. You imagine about maximum about 2,000 people in a given summertime have a land mass which is about 5 times of Indian subcontinent. It can never be completely studied due to 2 reasons. One is it's covered also by ice, which is sometimes as thick as 5 kilometers. So what is below the ice, we still do not know. So people use a lot of technologies like geophysical, radar technology to understand what is below. And also now new findings come actually. It's below the ice and between the land, there is also lakes are formed actually. There is a lot of water there. And how do we study? So therefore, these studies can continue, I would say, forever, because you will always find new things.
So what do scientists do for fresh food? How often is it brought in?
Year.
Once a year, fresh food?
Fresh.
Like vegetables and milk and all that?
Right.
And it is just frozen
So you
and
get over
stored.
in few months actually, you won't have anything
Afterwards
fresh.
only dal rice. First summer when it is open up, first flight comes, first they will get it kadipata and some fresh fruits. These are the first they will look at it. Maybe some leafy vegetables and some fruits. So we also send the first flight along with the people that will go.
Dr. Ravichandran, Dr. Thamban, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.